So congratulations on completing the workflow that you'd like to submit. And now I'd like to share with you some instructions on how to do so. So in addition to the Jupyter notebook that you just prepared, we also need you to acknowledge that you agree to some rules and requirements of the competition. And you're going to do this using a submission form, which is in a markdown format. So it ends with .md. And just like you got a blank template to work with before, we also have a blank template for you to work with. Now I'm going to go through the different fields that are in the submission form so that you know how to edit them. So in part one, at the top part of this submission form, you will have the chance to put in your name and your last name under contact name, your email address, and names of all the team members that took part in creating this notebook. So for example, if you worked with 4 people, 4 of your colleagues or 4 of your classmates to create this notebook, you need to put in all their names in a dictionary format. Don't forget to also include your name here. And if you worked on it alone, then just add your name again in this format here. The difference between the contact name and the notebook authors, the contact name is the name of the person that we will be contacting regarding, maybe you won a prize. We would like to contact this person, and you will be the main contact point for your team. So in addition to the names of the people involved, we would like you to put in your notebook title, which Docker image did you use, Python, R, or Julia, and you need to select, your notebook needs to make use of the EOPF Zarr Sample Service data. So you need to acknowledge that it is true that you did use this sample service data. And if you use one or more of the plugins, you can put true as your answer to this. If you didn't use any special plugins from the EOPF Zarr Sample Service or from the Toolkit, you can put false. Then you can select which data source did you use. Maybe you used only Sentinel 1, or you use more than one. You can put Sentinel 1 and Sentinel 2. And if you had any challenges working with the data, we want to know about it. So if you had any challenges working with it, right, please put in true here. And in the end, we also have some declarations for you to confirm that you understand. And to do that, you can put true as well if you agree to all the declarations. And I will explain what these declarations are in part 2. So at the bottom part of the submission form, you can fill in a 100-word abstract, which describes your notebook. If you used AI in authoring the notebook, please describe how you used it, again, limited to 100 words. If you used any code sources that you then modified, or some useful GitHub resources that you found, please also add the URLs here so that we can cite the original source of this code. And if you face any challenges working with the sample service data, please feel free to add a few sentences to give us your feedback, because we really want to use this process to improve it. If you have any ideas about the metadata structure or how you think it could be better, also please add this here under feedback. And earlier on, I mentioned in part 1, you had to agree to some declarations. So here are the declarations that you need to agree to in order to participate in this competition. So first, you agree to abide by the competition rules. Next, you and your team confirm that your submission is your own original work. Third, you grant the European Space Agency and ThriveGeo a non-exclusive license to use, reproduce, modify, and display your work for promotional and educational purposes, including putting it online in the EOPF 101 resource. And finally, we need your permission to confirm that the code you submitted can be published under the Apache 2 license. So we want to make this open source and available for other users, which is why we have chosen this license for the publication of the resource EOPF 101, as well as any of the winning submissions to this contest. And lastly, if you have any notes for us or any comments, you can add them under the notes section in the form. When you're done, don't forget to save it so that all the work you've put in will be saved in the Markdown file. So now that we have gone through each of the fields in the submission form template, let me show you where you can find it in the repository. So in the Community Notebook Competition repository, there is a file called submissionformtemplate.md. Right-click on it, and then select Duplicate from the drop-down menu to make a copy. What happens is the copy will be automatically renamed Submission Form Template Copy 1. So now you can right-click on this new copy, rename it as submission.md, and then you can double-click to open it, fill in all the details, and then save it. So once you have saved it, you will have submission.md completed, and the next step will be to move it into the submissions folder by just dragging and dropping it. After you have dragged and dropped it into the submissions folder, you can double-click the submissions folder to take a look inside. Now you should see 3 files: a readme.md, which contains the instructions for how to do a submission. You will see your notebook, which is already in there. And then you will also see submission.md, which is the submission form template that you just filled in. Next, we need you to create a new folder inside submissions with the same title as your notebook. Please use lowercase letters and underscores between each word. So for example, if the title of your notebook is called Monitoring Wildfires in Greece with S2, we encourage you to name the folder monitoring_wildfires_in_Greece _with_S2. So always remember to use lowercase letters and the underscores for the spaces. So now you have a new folder created inside the submissions folder. Now we need you to move the submission notebook as well as your submission.md file into the new folder. So you can simply drag it and drop it into the folder that you just created for both these files. And then when you're done, you should see that there's only the README file left in the submissions folder. So now you are ready to make a pull request to submit. If you're familiar with using Git and GitHub, what you need to do is create a branch, commit your submission files created using the instructions that we gave you already, and then raise a pull request against this repository. Please set the title of your pull request to the title of your notebook. If you are new to Git and GitHub, inside the README file in the submissions folder, there are a few links that you can follow, which will take you to some guides from GitHub that will explain how to do a pull request. You can also come to any of the upcoming co-working sessions to share your screen in November, December, and January, and we can work with you side by side to submit this together. So don't worry about being new to any of this. We're here to help you. So I'd like to encourage you to scan this QR code on the screen if you haven't already expressed your interest, because this is the way we will keep in touch with you over email. And we welcome you as well to invite any colleagues or classmates to take part in this community notebook competition together. It's a great way to get to experience using a cloud-native data format, because this is becoming more and more common in the future as more and more data providers like ESA start releasing data in this format. And it also gives you so much power to work with really large sets of data if you're interested in studying really big areas or really long time series, this is the way to do it. So I welcome you to take part in this competition. So now we have some time for questions. I recommend scanning this QR code with your phone. It will take you to our Slido page. And you can also go to slido.com, #Zarr is the event code, and you'll be able to, again, ask any questions here. So we're opening this up now to question and answers. Feel free to submit any questions you have here. Yeah, one question, can we get the presentation? Yes. So anyone who has expressed interest in the forum or has signed up on the Ticket Tailor page to get access to this, to attend this webinar, will get an email with a link to the presentation after today. We're also recording this and we'll put it up on YouTube, so you can watch it again or share this with anyone who might be also interested in joining. So thanks for that question. Any other questions so far? Is it okay to participate alone? Yes, for sure. You can also participate as an individual. So that's not a problem at all. Any other questions? When will our next meeting be or evaluation? So we will have the next session on the 4th of November. It will be an office hour session. So you can, again, bring your questions and we will do our best to answer them during the meeting. And you can sign up for this on the website. So I can maybe show you where this website is. So later on, I will share this set of slides with you. And here's the link to the EOPF Community Notebook Competition. So it's thrivegeo.com/EOPF Community Notebook Competition. And here you can get information about the prizes, the competition, express your interest. And right after today, we're going to update this button here with a button that will help you, let you sign up for office hours number 1, which is from 10 to 11 a.m. UTC +1 on the 4th of November. So you can already see all the different sessions that are coming up. And we will also add buttons here so that you can sign up for the next one after this webinar. Okay, so there's a question here about when will there be more S1 SLC samples released, especially sets with the same relative orbit? So this is a question that I unfortunately can't answer, as this will be something you need to post to the sample service itself. I recommend asking this question in the discourse forum so that they can get back to you. But you can actually also request specific data if you are interested in getting data from a certain area or a time period. There's actually a GitHub repository where you can actually request this data. So for example, let's try this. Let me try and show you how to do that. So if you go to, if you just Google EOPF Zarr Sample Service, here. So this is the EOPF Sentinel Zarr Sample Service repository. There's one called EOPF Sample Data here. So if you go in here, you can actually use this repository to request new data sets, or if there are some errors that you spot, you can also report them. So if you go here under issues, you can see an example here where Gisela actually requested some data to be converted. And what you need to provide is the name of the data set the coverage. In this case, she provided a vector file in the Global Water Watch database and the time period, and you need to provide the S3 paths. So you can look at some of the other closed issues, perhaps, to see some examples for how this is done. So for example, here, they provided the also a data path. So this is how you can request data for it to be reprocessed if you have a very specific area in mind. Okay, so there's another question here. How will we get the data set of Zarr? Directly using the link from the AWS S3 bucket or something else? All right, that's a great question. So as Gisela mentioned, there's actually a stack catalog where all this data is being released. So you can actually use the stack catalog to access this data. So if I go back to the sample service page, you can see here that there's this stack repository, but to access the stack catalog, you can go to their main page here. So I think it's Zarr EOPF. I'm just gonna Google this because this should take us there. So yeah, here. So this is the stack browser. We will provide all these links again, so don't worry about copying anything or making screenshots. We will provide all these links in the presentation afterwards. So this is the EOPF Sentinel Zarr Sample Service Stack API and the browser. And from here, you can scroll down and see all of the different data that's available. So the reprocessing is happening and it's converting Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2, and Sentinel-3 data at the moment. So for example, if you're interested in Sentinel-2 level 2A, you can click here just to browse and see what are the various data sets available, what's the metadata. And now if you want to actually access this data, we recommend using a programmatic approach, and you can see an example of that in the EOPF 101 resource. So let me go back here to the EOPF 101 resource. You can see in chapter 3, there's EOPF and stack. So first, we have a section here where we provide an introduction to stack, which stands for Spatio-Temporal Asset Catalog. You can learn about what it is, how it works, how do you navigate through it. And then we also introduce the web interface of what I just showed you, the sample service stack catalog. It shows you how to navigate through it. And then you can use Python to access the data through the EOPF Zarr Stack API. And we have an example notebook here that will walk you through exactly step-by-step, how do you connect to it, how do you explore the collections that are available, how do you do a search inside the catalog, filter for a specific time range, say from May 1st to May 31st, over 3 years. And then filter for a specific area using a bounding box, doing both of that together, and then retrieving the URLs. So I think when you mentioned those URLs for accessing the specific data sets, this is how you retrieve the URLs and the metadata, and then you can try it out for yourself. So this is how we recommend using the EOPF 101 resource to help you explore the stack catalog and then develop your own workflows in the notebooks.
Yeah, and I would also like to mention, sorry, that there's also already some R integrations. So we already made available the R workflow to also access. So it's already the starting point. It's going to be updated in the next weeks. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, this is a great new release. So you can check out other tools to work with EOPF Zarr. We have access the EOPF Zarr Stack API with R. And you can use the RStack package for this. Right, so there's a question here. What are the differences between EOPF versus Planetary Computer Stack API? So these are first two different sets of data. The EOPF Zarr data is a reprocessed Sentinel 1, 2, and 3 data processed into the Zarr format. I know that Sentinel data is also available via Planetary Computer, but I think they process it to a different format. It might be GeoTIFF. I'm not sure, but they're basically two different sets of data. So that's what you need to know. A quick question, are there ML data sets which already have images and mask? I don't quite understand this question. Are you asking if you can use the EOPF data sets for doing machine learning workflows? In which case I would say, yes, you can definitely try and prepare a notebook that tries that out. Anybody have maybe you can ask this another time with more detail, then I can try and answer that a bit better. Then the last one is, can we use GDAL to access EOPF? I believe so. Basically, you can use GDAL to work with the EOPF data. Xarray, which is a library that we recommend using, integrates the use of GDAL inside Xarray to work with the EOPF data. So that's a yes, I would say. Gisela or Kieran, any comments here?
From the digital perspective, yeah, like I know it's integrated, and for images and masks, if you explore yourself the Zarr structure, you will definitely find all the information you would need also maybe to generate your own masks, I would say. Like it's just an opportunity to try out everything that you're interested into. Also, if you would be interested into developing a machine learning approach, it would be also really nice to showcase what can be done with the data so far. But yeah, it's just a matter of exploring what you're having inside there, trying it out, and yeah, also use the discourse forum. There's a lot of people there that are also making other type of developments, so maybe you can find an answer there.
Okay, someone replied, yes, you can use with pip install Zarr and GDAL for processing.
Yeah, but also, okay, also a note is that the Docker image that was already created already contains everything so far that has been developed. You can integrate further packages if you would need, but just take a note on them. And yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, so the Docker image already has all the libraries we use for developing EOPF 101 installed. So you don't need to install anything unless you're trying something and you're missing it. Yeah, so for example, if you look at an example here and you can see from the Fires in Sardinia example and this EOPF Zarr in Action chapter, you can see a whole bunch of libraries already imported. So all these have been already installed in the Docker image. So that can give you maybe a quick idea of what was used so far and already installed.
And also for Sentinel-1, we're having flood mapping, the time series analysis in Valencia. So yeah, like the basic ones are already there. And it's just also a matter of for you to exploring everything.
All right, so somebody asked here, which is better score in the competition using Python libraries such as NumPy, Xarray, or with CLI with subprocess library? So if you're using Python, we would encourage you to use Python libraries like NumPy and Xarray because they are quote unquote more user-friendly for beginners, which we are hoping these workflows will be very useful for. So we would recommend using Python libraries. And this question here about credentials. So you actually need to sign up for a CDSE account before you can access the JupyterHub. And once you have a CDSE account, you can then very simply log in and then use the sample service JupyterHub. So just very quickly, let me just jump back here to those slides. So this is the JupyterHub. And there's a link here. So if you click on this link from the presentation, it will take you to the EOPF Sentinel Zarr Samples JupyterHub. If you click on sign in, you will then need to log in with the CDSE user account. If you don't have one, just register here and then use those credentials to log in to access the JupyterHub. Okay, so I also wanted to show you the discourse forum. In the links here, there's this discourse forum that you can go to. And here you can see that there have been also a lot of different threads that are posted. We will also post a new thread here relating to the notebook competition. And if you then reply to any of these questions or post a question, we can then help answer them here in the discourse forum. So it will not just be the experts from ThriveGeo, SparkGeo, and Development Seed there, but also the various companies that are developing the data in the sample service. So if you have specific questions relating to the sample service data, they can also answer them here. Or you can always post an issue on the sample service GitHub. And there they can also address any of the issues that you raised.
Or you could also open issues in EOPF 101. There's a lot of channels to communicate.
Yes. Just ask questions and we will try to help you get the answers. All right, so I want to thank everyone so far for all your questions and all your interest. We are always available. Like I said, feel free to reach out to us anytime through the discourse forum or through the EOPF 101 repo. We're happy to answer your questions. And also, we will share all these links and presentations after the webinar today. And I'd like to thank everyone for your interest. And if there are no more questions, I would suggest that we end the session and have a great rest of the day, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
And happy EO coding. Oh, someone has a question?
Oh, no, I think people are leaving slowly. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Please ask your colleagues and classmates to join.